Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a new week, and we are back with new shows. It feels good to be here, doesn't it?
It does.
It feels good. Okay, by the way, as you can see, yes, new shows, new week. Thank you for joining us. Jason, however, not here yet. He'll be back next week. You know me, I'm Kendall Mark, and joining me today, who hasn't been here for years. Literally years.
3 years, I think it's been.
Cody Matt, welcome.
It's good to be here.
I was thinking about that the other day, prepping for this, and we were just chatting. If you don't live here, you don't know that Cody and I work on the Fox 9 Morning News together. I sit in the weather center with him. I'm not a meteorologist, to be clear. People ask all the time. They're like, how's the weather? I'm like, I'm the traffic girl. I couldn't tell you.
You know, you could just roll with that sometime. Be like,
Someday I will.
so here's your forecast.
Here it is for the
totally
day.
Do it.
It's going to be sunny and 85 in the middle of December, people. But we sit together. So I was chatting with you, and we're like, gosh, we haven't done this.
It's been a very long time.
Since we sat there next to each other at Jason's desk.
Pre-pandemic.
So 2019, maybe?
So like 28 years ago is what it feels like.
1,000 years ago.
It's been a while.
How have you been?
It's good. I'm good.
Life is good?
Life is good.
You look exactly the same.
Well, thank you. I haven't aged a day.
That Botox is working.
Oh man, yes, it's all. I'm getting my face as tight as possible. That's how we roll.
That's how it does it. You had a busy weekend. You were out of town. I had the opposite. And can I just take this moment?
Absolutely.
To discuss with you at home how important this is. So my husband has been under the weather. So we were trying to do the responsible thing, and he's been just in the house. And I come to work because I've been fine, but when I'm done with work, I just go home. So this weekend we had all these plans. I rescheduled all of them, and I'm going, what am I gonna do all weekend?
You found something. I
read 3 books. And one of them was 624 pages.
So you're a quick reader.
I read so quickly and so maniacally that sometimes I have to go back once I'm done with the book just to go, I feel like I didn't process.
So are you a scan reader then?
No, I don't. What do they say when you don't? It's how you're supposed to read if you really want to ingest the information. You don't move your eyes when you read. There's like a name for it. You might know what I had a teacher who told me about this once, but essentially when you're reading, you're so into it that it's like your face doesn't move. It looks like you're faking it almost.
Huh.
You've never heard of this?
No.
Okay, well, it's a thing. The point of this being, take a minute, people. Just do nothing, because it was fantastic.
I bet.
I had people come, like neighbors walk by, and they're like, oh, she hasn't moved. Is she okay? should we check
Knock
on her?
on your door and be like, are you sure you're good?
I kid you not.
Do you need a drink?
Seriously, I went from the front porch to the back porch solely because I had one neighbor that had walked by twice with their dog, and I felt so awkward having been in the same spot, and my bum started to hurt, so I went to the other porch to continue reading.
You're gonna have to teach me how to do that, because I read like I talk. So like I'm a not super slow reader, but I am a slow reader, like a conversational reader.
Right.
So reading 640 pages in one weekend is impossible for me.
It's
impossible.
so fun. It's so fun. I actually had to stop myself because it's part of a series. We're gonna do book club this week, my mom and I, so I will tell you all about it then. It's your little teaser. It's this series, and it's now my new favorite. I know I've talked Cody's ear off about this thing.
So the thing I love about it is I didn't know we were this big of nerds
Total
together.
Nerds.
But explain like your genre this particular genre.
So I explained it with several different books piled together to Cody, which I will do for you. But what I will say for now is it's fantasy.
Which I did not see. I was like, there's no way you like fantasy.
I'm in love with a hot elf, a mythical hot elf. Who would have thunk it? My husband's like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, take a minute for yourselves, people. It's totally worth it. I encourage you to do it.
I just sold. Some of the best weekends I've ever had, I haven't left my house.
See, there you go. You shouldn't either. You should just turn on the show. Because what time is it? Time for the hot dish. We're going to see with our friends. It's a share.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we're like cavemen.
Yeah, we don't have silverware around
We
here.
don't need silverware.
No.
It's fine. Hey, Shawn Mendes is putting himself first. This came out over the last week or so. He announced that he's pushing back the next 3 weeks of concerts until further notice. On Instagram, he wrote that he's been touring since he was 15. Imagine that. He's 23 now, and he says traveling has taken a toll on him, and the pressure has really caught up to him, and he's hitting his breaking point. He says he needs to take some time for his mental health. First show he canceled, by the way. A lot of you right here in the Twin Cities probably know this. It was his stop in St. Paul. Ooh. No word on a new date. When this came out, I mean, Shawn Mendes is huge. People love him.
Global name.
Global name.
Yep.
And he's always been really open about his mental health, his struggles with it. Is it In My Blood, I believe is the name of his song?
And he probably his best song.
Yes, and he talks about it's his struggle with anxiety and how that came about later in life and how he's had to deal with that. I mean, I get that the fans are probably really disappointed, but I think you agree with me, and you at home too, that sometimes when you just need a minute, you need to be able to say, I need a minute. It's an important conversation with mental health in general.
It's a big step to admit that you need to do something outside your norm, because there are all these expectations, and not only from friends and family, but from people that have no idea who, or you've never met before in your life.
Right.
And so to be able to take the step and go, wait, I need to do something different. I need to adjust. This has got to happen for my own benefit and maybe for the fan benefit, because maybe the concert wasn't going to be as good, or he couldn't, perform as well. So good for him. What little known fact?
You love Shawn Mendes?
Well, yes, mostly because I met him before he was Shawn Mendes.
Tell me more.
So he was on the Fox 9 Morning News here on the weekend.
Why didn't I work here yet?
Right, like before he got big. He was, I think he was 14 at that point.
Right.
He just started making a name for himself. He just became, he just became a thing.
Right.
And he was Shawn Mendes before Shawn Mendes.
And was he just really cool?
The nicest person ever. And whoever, he had a handler, forgive me, somebody was there with him. Nicest people ever. Just super down to earth. Granted, he wasn't Shawn Mendes yet,
but still.
It was still really cool. I have it on my Facebook. I have the video. I've retooled it a couple times on Facebook. Like this is super
I've met
cool.
Shawn Mendes.
It was really cool.
It's got to be one of the most famous people too that you've met. You know what I mean?
By far.
He's
and
massive.
he was and I had no idea who he was at the time.
Yeah.
But he sang part of one of his songs, and I'm like, oh, he's going to be like a thing. This is going to be a thing. Like you could tell instantly.
Did he have good hygiene? I mean, this is what people really want to know. Because some of those singers, you're like, do you shower? I don't know. Do you have good hygiene?
I don't remember him having bad hygiene.
Oh,
so.
He was 14. I forgot. It's like, okay, everyone, never mind. Cody,
this got weird.
I digress.
Yeah, he was 14.
He was 14. I'm sorry.
We'll leave it at
Forgot
that.
about that part.
Moving on. All right, next in the dish, anyone hoping for Chris Evans to return as Captain America is in for a bit of a disappointment. Captain America 4 is in the works, and it appears Anthony Mackie will continue in the role. Now, he plays Sam Wilson, who took over the Shield in the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. When the Hollywood Reporter questioned whether Chris would return, Evans tweeted, quote, that Sam Wilson is now Captain America. And if you follow along, this was no big surprise. Chris Evans has made numerous statements that, he was in for, the 3 Captain Americas in the Avengers series, and then that was it. He was done. They actually, if you watch the Disney Plus show or haven't, they actually made a really cool transition into
tell me about that, because I didn't watch it.
So it basically, Chris Evans' character, Captain America, the original Captain America, he had a lot of, for lack of a better term, and forgive me, he had a lot of PTSD type stuff. I wouldn't classify it as that.
His character,
it was part of his character. Well, he needed to move on and figure out life after that, and needed to move on from the world in his life as Captain America to just deal with stuff.
Yeah.
And so he kind of passed the torch, literally and figuratively, to Anthony Mackie.
Did he literally hand him his shield?
Kind of. It wasn't quite like that, but
Here you
he
go,
pretty
man.
much
It's
did.
on you now.
But it was a really cool moment, and I think that's what the Disney Plus show kind of did, is it allowed some of these transitions to happen outside of the movie realm, which was kind of cool.
All right, so for fans of the show, it makes sense that he's not coming back.
Yes,
As
I
Captain
think it would have
America.
been more of a surprise if he was coming back at this point.
All right. All right, next in the dish, Delilah Owens' hit new novel, and it's not newish, you've heard of it, Where the Crawdads Sing. So good. hits theaters this week. She and producer of the film, you may have heard of her, Reese Witherspoon, chatted about making it into a movie.
Haven't 11 million people read this book around the world? Or
12?
Okay, that's even better.
It was Witherspoon who plucked Delia out of relative obscurity back in 2018, enthusiastically adding Where the Crawdads Sing to her Hello Sunshine book club.
It just blew me away. It felt like when I was reading To Kill a Mockingbird or just any sort of classic Southern literature. So when I got to meet Delia, I was like, who are you? This is amazing.
So you have to come to my horse farm.
Witherspoon is from Tennessee. Owens is a native of Georgia.
I'm so glad you're here.
Two tomboys from the South who bonded almost immediately.
I grew up with women like Delia, and I sat around tables with women telling their stories, and I knew
And
women
drinking whiskey out of a teacup.
Yeah. Drinking whiskey. Sometimes in a teacup.
Whiskey in a teacup.
Sometimes in a mason jar.
A Hollywood
Delia Owens is a ham, apparently. The book has spent 166 weeks at #1. That is highly, highly unusual. Obviously, it really helped that it was on Reese's book list, and it
Like
has
book
been for
club.
a while. Right, and now people are going to see the movies, they want to read it ahead of the time, but it was a really great piece just getting to see her and a little bit of her story and how she writes and how this was her first book. So I was watching it with my husband and he was like, how does that just happen to someone? I don't know, it's a gift. It's just a gift.
Now, forgive me, I've heard of the book, no idea what it's about. Give me like the one sentence version of what the book's about.
Southern girl is on her own. She kind of moves into the life of the living because she's been raised basically by herself in the bayou.
Okay.
And then it turns into more from there.
Okay.
It's based in
Fair enough.
I believe it's the 50s or the 60s.
Cool.
So it's just a Southern charm. Well, hey, we've got lots more coming up right after this. We'll be right back. Hold your wigs and keys, as Jason would say.
Call it the Stranger Things effect. Another 80s song is climbing the charts again, thanks to the Netflix show. Plus, made by hand. One woman is making her mark on the handbag world all by herself. Meet the force behind the brand, Mars Jameson. And garden guy to the rescue.
You need to get down on your hands and knees, mate, and do some weeding. You got some weeds growing everywhere.
Dale K visits producer Ted to offer up some garden tips anyone could use this time of year. Or another cup of coffee. The Jason Show is coming right back.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to the Jason Show. New week, new shows, and new us. Thank you.
Do you do this a lot?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my thing.
Just checking.
Just like my 69-year-old father. All right. Eva Marcille was on Andy Cohen last night. She is in the second season of The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, and she may have spilled some tea on her castmates. That is our late night rewind.
Here we go. What's one way Vicky, the OG of the OC, did not live up to your expectations on the trip?
Every day. She never whooped it up,
She never whooped it up.
No.
Dorinda was very triggered by Brandy accusing her of wanting to be back on Roni. What did you think of that?
I think it was very telling. The tornado came out early.
What do you really think Brandy meant by her mangina comment?
I don't know, but you want to keep it cute. Whatever it is, it better be cute because she's my friend.
What was more disturbing, Dorinda fingering everyone's food or Brandy using the inflatable for an impromptu tutorial?
The fingering of the food, it was so wrong.
Now that Jill's not here, be honest. Was she being thirsty when she wanted to be part of your radio show?
If Jill was right here, yes, you would be thirsty. Here or not.
Okay. Which of your fellow ex-wives seemed the most interested in getting back on their show?
Jill.
Tea spilled. God, she's still so beautiful.
I'm sorry, can we back up the tornado?
The Tornado. Apparently it's a name. Is Dorinda's name? Is that her nickname?
Okay.
Oh, Tornado. It's Dorinda.
Okay. I'm following, but I'm just intrigued.
Just went, who is this?
Yeah, Jeff says it's not a real weather term. I was like, wait, I got to find the weather dictionary. It's not it. All right, well, it's time for a special serving of Hot Dish all the way from Hollywood.
Please give it up for Brad from TMZ. Hey, Brad.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good, we're good. All right, first up, it's been an active few weeks at Selena Gomez's house. Security has had their hands absolutely full. What's going on with this?
Yeah, some scary stuff going on at Selena Gomez's LA home. So we know on Sunday night, or I should say early Sunday morning, there was a man who made his way onto her property. He hopped a fence. Luckily, she wasn't home. Security saw him, called police, and he was arrested. But that is just one in a string of incidents that has happened. We've actually learned a couple weeks ago there was somebody who a mattress was outside of her property somehow, and somebody had written on it her name in what police believed was in blood. They wrote Selena's name and then set that mattress on fire. Now, that person was also apprehended. We don't believe that there's any connection between the two people who have been caught there, but I mean, it's just scary stuff and kind of shows, even with security and everything, this stuff can still happen.
I feel like, are these incidents going up, at least with Selena Gomez's house, because now she's on the show Only Murders in the Building, which is taken off? It was a really good show. Or is this just like status quo for a big celeb, if that can even be said?
No, I know what you're saying. And with Selena Gomez and her and the Kardashians and Ariana Grande, they for years have been having these issues. So I know that her name is being circulated again because of the show, but we have just seen this with young stars, especially singers and actresses. It's really scary.
Ugh, poor thing. All right, next up, I love this story because I love Florence and how she has reacted to this, and I'm super excited to hear, Brad, how are you going to describe her recent wardrobe choice at a recent event and what people are saying about it?
No, I mean, it's kind of insane, Kendall, the pushback or the commentary that people issued on this thing. I mean, Florence attended an event over the weekend in Rome where she was wearing a dress that, I mean, it was fairly see-through, where you could see her breasts, and a lot of people made comments, as they do on social media, to try and take her down. I mean, they were commenting, calling her flat-chested and things like that, and her response was good. I mean, she said, look, I expected that I would get some criticism and hear some of this from people, but it's essentially pathetic, and she put them in their place, and I think a lot of her fans and even people who didn't really know her are kind of rallying behind her and excited that she isn't just letting these comments go and she's addressing it, because I think it helps people moving forward too.
Oh, she's a total boss how she handled it, and you handled it very well. I like that what you didn't say is there was not a nip slip. There was just some
No,
nip.
it wasn't
and that's
a nip
what
slip.
people
It was just the dress.
That's what people were freaking out about, but good job, good job.
Yes, thank you. I'm a professional.
It's a professional, people.
Most of the time. We're all professionals most of the time.
Right.
All right, well, Pete Buttigieg's former campaign manager dropping some dish on her old boss, including his run-ins with some celebs. What's this about?
Yeah, this is kind of a fun story. So Mayor Pete, as he used to be called before he ran for president, he was here in LA for a fundraiser before the 2020 election. And at this fundraiser, I mean, there were some big stars there. Paris Hilton was there, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Pete's former campaign manager says during that fundraiser, it was at a home here in LA, Leo kind of pulled Pete to the side and said, hey, look, I know you've got your debate coming up. I'm happy to help you with some tips, kind of prepare for it for the speaking part and kind of how to handle these debates. And Pete said, you know what, I appreciate that. And his campaign manager said, well, did you get Leo's number? Like, is he gonna do this? And Pete's like, no, you know what, I didn't think to get his number. And his campaign manager just kind of lost it. Like, that's Leonardo DiCaprio. But, you know, Pete isn't somebody who really followed the celebrity world and everything. And he actually did really well during that debate. It's kind of what got his name in the conversation. But who knows, with some Leo tips, maybe could have gotten him a little further.
Well, I'm not sure he needs it. So there's been a video that recently got pushed online from Mayor Pete back in college at it may have been a campaign rally for somebody else, but he was in college. It was right after September 11th, and he had a very, very long-winded question about where the country may be going in the next 20 years. And it was fascinating to see how articulate he was, even at that young age. And I think it just goes to show his personality that he's very into, you know, he doesn't get involved in all the rigmarole. He's just very into what he knows.
He's pretty incredible. He went viral over the weekend too for defending, I think, a tweet by his husband or something like that. It's really great to see him, like you said, how intricate his answers are and how he really gets to the point.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll wait and see what there is more to come from him. Brad from TMZ, right. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
I just want to say I'm totally love Florence Pugh, and if you're really curious what happened here, just check it out online. You will see. But the dress is very beautiful, and she basically said, "Body shamers be gone. I don't want to hear anything from you, so go, girl."
Like it.
Okay, next in the dish. I just had to get that out. There are unwritten rules when it comes to social media, especially concerning DMs. Okay, they are direct messages and private for a reason. And a cast member from Stranger Things has broken the code of conduct. What are we talking about? Doja Cat reached out to actor Noah Schnapp and inquired about status of his Stranger Things co-star Joseph Quinn. So apparently Doja said she couldn't find Joseph's account, and that's why she reached out to Noah. But then he then shared messages on his TikTok. He has since deleted it, but the damage, hey, it was done. People were like, wait, what? You slid into the DMs? Doja cut out the move. She said it's socially unaware and whack, but really chalked it up to Noah being just 17 years old. So people, both sides are really coming out at this. They're like, why would you reach out to a 17-year-old to try to set you up with someone?
Yeah.
I think she didn't reach out to him to set him up. She just merely said, hey, do you have the phone number of somebody that I'm interested in? I mean, I don't think it's that weird. I do think it's really weird that he put it out there on TikTok for everybody to see. I just think it's disrespectful. Like
it is, but again, to her point and to kind of her credit, maybe he just didn't know, because it is kind of an unwritten rule.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what people DM you, it doesn't matter what they say. It's in your DM, it's for you.
Yeah.
You either read it or you don't and move on.
Right.
You don't throw it out to the world. And he's 17. I don't know.
Do better.
By the way, since we talked about this, DMs, don't put them online.
Okay, just don't like DM people if you don't want anybody
Well,
to
there's
see
that
it,
too.
Just like,
You could go that route too.
Use the phone. It's probably the safest mechanism. I'm just saying.
Is it? Not anymore.
Oh, I'm just saying.
That's smartphones. All right, next in the dish, more Stranger Things. Metallica is back in the headlines thanks to the show. Eddie Munson played the guitar riff from the song Master of Puppets. So the band decided to do a side-by-side on TikTok.
Prissy, this is for real.
Okay, so if you've been watching the show but haven't seen this yet, it's the final 2 episodes. The video has nearly 9 million views and is climbing. And obviously, Stranger Things couldn't get any bigger, so it's just kind of everywhere.
Well, they have the one song that it plays throughout the season, just at least a couple times. They're running up that hill that you've heard now a million times on the radio.
Yeah.
My husband was like, why is this song from the 80s on? I'm like, Stranger Things, duh.
Come on.
But I mean, the power of Stranger Things is right. To just make you, because most people who watch the show either remember it and love it, all those things, or they're newbies and they go, well, this is kind of a cool song. I should check this out. So it's a win-win recipe for them.
And it's amazing how much influence one show can have on the world.
Pop culture, man. Let me tell you. Hey, everybody, we will be right back talking about more pop culture. Isn't that weird? That's what we do here.
Is that what we do?
That's what we do.
Oh, all right.
We have an influence. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back. There is a new handbag shop at the Mall of America where all the bags are made right in store.
Yeah, Mars Jamison is in the mall's community commons, and its owner sits in the shop with her sewing machine and stitches everything right there.
Who is she?
On the spot.
I wonder who she is.
Right there.
Here, the owner of Mars Jamison, Mo Stewart. Welcome, Mo.
Hi, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. Full disclosure, I remember watching, Shane had come to see the community commons and had been talking about your specific location in your shop. You've been doing this for a few years, but you actually started back in 2016, but you were in college first and then you went into this. Tell me a little bit about your background because I think it's really interesting.
I started sewing when I was a kid, and then once I got to college, it was too much to sew, and I had a kid. So after college, I went right into my career job, started back up sewing again.
Just as a hobby?
As a hobby.
Right.
And then tried clothes, but I don't love it, and went back, discovered handbags, and it's been handbags ever since.
And you said it was a YouTube video?
It was a YouTube video I watched on how to make a zipper pouch. So I went in my house tearing apart everything I can to salvage zippers. And
just tearing apart your clothes.
I did. I had like little bags and stuff and couch pieces, and I just stitched it together. No one knew.
Now, how long have you been at the Community Commons now?
Since April 1st.
And this is kind of a homecoming for you, sort of.
Yes, I have worked in the Mall of America for what I just found out was 21 years.
21 years?
Crazy.
Like what?
That's amazing.
I still, 21 good old years.
I mean, different stores and different locations, but how does it feel to kind of own your spot? You kind of own your space. You're like, this is mine.
It's a full circle moment. It's really emotional because I've been coming to the mall for so long and seeing it shape into so many different things, and now I come in and it's like Mars Jameson right up there. I walk and I see my name, and so it.
Well, and I love the name of your store. So Mars Jameson isn't just some random thing. It came from your parents, correct?
Yes. My mom's name was Marsha, and then my dad's name is James. And so together, it's just, it flows. Mars Jameson.
I like that.
Well, we saw a little bit of the store just a second ago in that video, but you brought some bags too. So when someone comes in, how does this process work? Do they just go, I like this style, and then what happens?
If it's on the shelf, they can buy it. If I'm working on it on the sewing machine and they want to wait till I'm finished, they can buy it. If they don't see their color in store, then I have my color chart up. They can choose a color and have it custom ordered. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks. It doesn't take that long, but I give myself time.
Is this the color chart or is this a bag?
That's just the bag.
I don't know anything.
No.
This looks like a color chart, which is awesome, by the way.
I have about 36 colors. That's just, I like to mix fun colors
I don't
together.
blame you. That's awesome.
The color, and then you get a purse that goes with
That's
it.
cool.
It goes with the color,
I like
and
that.
36 colors in the canvas. But if it comes in like a faux leather, then it's just what I can get my hands on or what I have in store. But most of them all of them are made in store and can be made on the spot. Some quicker than others. This one takes about 2.5 hours.
And you said this one over here by me is your most popular bag, this purple one?
Yes.
What is this one called?
The Mosa tote is named after me, of course.
It's named after me, that's why it's so popular.
That's why it's popular.
I really love it. I love the size of it too. I'm gonna try to show everybody what it looks like on the inside. And you can, so if someone comes in and you have this color available but it's not on the shelf, you will literally make it in the store if you're not already working on a different bag?
Yeah, if I have the bags pre-cut and prepped.
So you've done all the prep work. That's
not
why
all the time.
Okay.
Sometimes I've done the prep, but if not, I have my fabric in the back, and I'll just go and cut it. It takes a little. That's why it takes a little longer because it's not prepped.
Yeah.
But for the most part, my body just kicks into gear and I start sewing.
Maybe we should go back. So this takes a little while because how many employees do you have?
Just me.
Exactly. It's literally coming from you.
Every bag on the shelf is made by me in store. Sometimes I'm in awe because I did it all.
Right.
And I just sit and sew 17 hours a day.
Do your fingers hurt like all the time?
17 hours a day.
No. Fingers doesn't.
I'm looking at her.
I don't see blood. Like what's happening?
It's not the hands that hurt. It's like my arms and my back. Some of the bags you have to birth and turn them inside out, right side out. So it gets a little heavy on the arms. But I'm usually watching like Golden Girls, so I have my earpiece in.
Nice.
And if you see me
Jason
laughing,
would be inspired right now, just for the record.
it's either Golden Girls in my ear or some movie going on, and it's like I'm at home, except there's no pajamas, and I'm kind of in the windows. I'm on display.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you're in the community commons space. If someone's never been there, where is that, and what exactly is community commons?
Community Commons is located across from Levi's, South 238. Closest parking is Macy's.
Always got to say the parking. Good job.
I love that.
Macy's, okay.
Community Commons was created by an organization called Knock Inc. that just puts small businesses together to give them the opportunity to work in the Mall of America. And I applied and was like, yay, I got it. I got it. I didn't know if they were going to let me sew in store. I couldn't imagine being away from my sewing machine all day.
For that long, because you're your only employee.
I sew all day. So when they were like, yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I get to be in store and sew. And then it was like, what are you doing?
Right. I gotta ask, I mean, so once this community commons piece is over, once you're done being there, what's
whenever that
next? Yeah, whenever that is. Do you want to open up a full store? Are you going to do just online only? I mean,
I would love
have you thought about this far ahead? I'm just throwing this out there
I've
at you.
thought about it a little bit. I would love to open up a store, but I still have to sew in store. I think I would like to get my bags manufactured, a number of them, because I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Mama is
but but I would like to still be able to sew in store and just to have people. A lot of kids come in the store, youth, and I love when they come in and they ask me what I'm doing and they want to see how the machine works.
Yeah.
I'm always going to stop what I'm doing to show them how it works. So just being there for them to see me is amazing, and I want to keep that going. And people, and they come in and we talk sewing machines and interfacing, and so whatever store I have, I would always love to sew in store. I have a few things lined up, but nothing's set in stone. So
because you don't know when your MOA will end.
I don't, which
Which is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well.
Wait.
Are you coming to sew for me?
No, you do not want me sewing for you.
I can teach you. If I found someone else to help me sew, that would be great. But I think I've been doing just fine these past 3 months.
Well, and I know we have to go, but Cody pointed out this bag earlier. I love this bag. You said
It's so
because
great.
you've done all the most of the prep work ahead of time. That takes 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't need prep for that. I can just cut it and get going. Yeah, it takes
That's
about
awesome.
15 minutes.
Beautiful.
So I can get about 20 of those done, and I max out at my most of like 6 bags of the big ones a day. I'm over it by then.
Right, you just can't.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Can't do anymore.
It's enough.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was, I can't believe that you actually do all this on your own and manage to run a business, so bravo.
Me both.
Bravo to you. For more information, you can head to her website, marsjameson.com. And if you don't live around here, of course, you can head to the website and you can get something shipped over to you.
Yes,
in
you can.
Seattle, hey. Otherwise, go to Community Commons in the Mall of America.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back. Nice job.
Oh, gosh.
Hi.
Still laughing. We talk a lot outside of during the commercial
We
breaks.
do.
If you come to our audience, which we don't have right now, you will see it for yourself.
And you'll hear it for yourself, and most of the content is random
Hilarious.
and hilarious.
Just go to the Jason Show Facebook page.
Yeah.
You can find it there.
There you go.
All right, it's one of the top questions the Jason Show gets. What should we watch? So Cody and I both binged something pretty good this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I watched a new documentary on Netflix that a lot of people are talking about. It's called Girl in the Picture. Take a look.
In 2002, a friend sent me a photograph. It was a picture of a little girl, her father. The more you looked at the picture and the more you looked at her, you could see something was terribly wrong. The only person that knew her real identity was her father.
And was it her father? What? This true crime documentary tells the story of a young woman caught up in a crazy story involving a man who claimed to be her father. So that actual tease, and executive producer Jeff and I had the same thought. It actually is a little misleading because you don't hear the voice of that man talk about this picture until about halfway through the episode. And then that all comes into play again, this whole rediscovery of this case. I don't want to say too much because there are so many weird twists and turns in this hour. It's about an hour and 45-minute show. If you are a fan of Dateline or any of those other type murder mysteries that you can find out there these days, definitely recommend checking it out. It's this woman, I can say this. This woman ends up on the side of the road. She's been hit by a vehicle, at least it looks that way. And she goes to the hospital. She ends up passing away there. And this man who says it's her husband comes in to take their child that they have together. But there's way too many questions around it. So the child goes into foster care, and then there's a paternity test, and maybe he's not the father. It is the most random rigmarole that you would ever believe. You cannot believe that this actually happened, that this was a real case that happened in the late 80s, early 90s. And the story winds about her story, this man's story, her mother's story, her child's story, and it takes all the way until about 2018, 2017, I think, somewhere around then, to actually figure out who this girl in the picture is.
It's like a really creepy version of the movie Overboard.
I've never seen that.
Kurt Russell, anyone?
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I'm like, so sorry. But it's fascinating. It is pretty, can be a little grotesque and creepy. So if that's not your thing, don't watch it, but it's available on Netflix.
Okay. Good to know. All right, well, I'm watching a new series on Hulu that's earning some rave reviews. It focuses on a young chef who returns home to Chicago to run his family's sandwich shop. Here's a look at The Bear.
Good morning, chef. I refer to everybody as chef because it's a sign of respect.
You're the most excellent chef in the United States. What are you doing here?
I want to fix this place.
No one's asking you to.
Delicious or impressive?
Delicious is impressive.
Word. What do you think?
It's redundant and white, just like you.
There's some good comedy, like slow comedy in this one. So Jeremy Allen White, you see there, who you may know from the show Shameless, stars in the show. It is a, I want to call it more of a realistic, real-life view of what actually goes on in a kitchen. Now, obviously, there's a lot of drama thrown in. There's family drama. There's Chicago drama. There's, workplace drama. But it is kind of an intense show. There is a lot of bad language, so if that's not your thing, maybe don't give the show a try. But it feels very authentic. It feels very like, oh, this is kind of real life type of thing. Don't ever watch the show hungry, because they show some amazing food and you'll be hungry afterwards. So eat beforehand or eat during. But it is a wonderful show. I knew nothing about it going in. It was recommended to me. They're like, it's called The Bear. I'm like, is it about bears?
What is it?
That plays a role in it, and you'll understand why it's called The Bear when you get into the show. But it is, it's just really easy watching. It's good television. It takes a couple of turns. I'm not actually through the whole show yet. I'm probably 5 episodes in.
Like 30-minute episodes, 45?
30 to 40-minute episodes,
Okay,
so
quick.
it's a quicker watch. But it's got a 100% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. If you're not into critics, it's got a 98% rating for viewership. So it's very well documented. I think it's going to be renewed again, but it's very, very good.
All right.
So there you go.
It's on Hulu, everybody. We will be right back. Okay, so what's with The Bear? Is it like a food thing?
Gonna show the camera?
No. Maybe for the surprise.
This is things that we talk about during the commercial break.
No, I just go hold my hands like this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Kendall still has a.
Don't, Cody.
Never mind. She'll have to.
I'll just be like this. I'll
Okay,
be
she'll have to tell you sometime. Well, if you want to have the best lawn and garden on the block, it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a little bit of work.
Imagine that. For producer Ted, it might take more than just a little work. Garden Guy Dale Kay visited his house to give him some gardening tips.
You like, that one might be going to Tampa.
Do you have the Flight Trader app? Where
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm kind of an app geek, so.
Yeah. I've tried to get into gardening recently, and we had a really good spring, but now the summer's coming, and I don't know what to do. So I had to bring in an expert, the garden guy, Dale Kay. Welcome to South Minneapolis, Dale.
You know, the great thing about South Minneapolis is all these homes, they're kind of like blank canvases, right? They're established. Can you just pan over that way? Down that alley, about 30 feet, is actually TSA, and if you just go down to the end of the block, is baggage claim. You are so close to the airport. I've been waving to people going to everywhere for some time. So that blank canvas, right? So you're in an established neighborhood. It needs some work, Ted. You need some pruning. This one should have been done a little while ago. These look beautiful in the spring. These also need a trim. You need to get down on your hands and knees, mate, and do some weeding. You got some weeds growing everywhere. A little splash of mulch, too. It's almost like painting your house. It will freshen up the place. Your backyard needs a little bit of a prune. You got a hanging basket that's failing. We got to fix that right away. And then also the veggie garden. It's been overrun. We need to clean that up.
Okay, Dale, with all that said, what kind of grade would you give me?
For gardening?
Yeah.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
D. That might be generous.
What? I was thinking like B minus.
There's been no effort. It's like you've taken your homework and done nothing with it for months. Maybe a year and a half.
I would sprinkle little coffee beans on it. Get the Home Alone, man. All right, Dale, to be honest, I never really pay attention to the front of my house.
It kind of shows. You got like a shrub that's almost half dead, and you got a spotlight on it, but you don't want to illuminate like a half dead plant. So if you just give this a bit of a trim up quick, it'll start to look about 1,000,000 times better. You want to have a try? Don't hurt yourself. You know how to get them open.
Well, how do you get these open?
I don't want to get my fingers. There's a little thing there, right there. See that? Yeah. It's not a keyboard. Push.
There we go.
Hey, see, doesn't that feel better? The little thing that my grandmother taught me, deadheading. Want to learn?
Oh, sure.
Were you paying attention?
You just cut one of these things off.
No. Not the one that's about to bloom.
The dead one. Okay.
Ted. You never did homework as a kid, did you? No. Above the loop. If I get out of this with all my fingers, keep going.
Oh, right. What do you think?
So it looks a little sad. Gardening is all about learning. The combination of the plants that are in here with the basket size is basically ensuring this basket has essentially failed. What I like to do with hanging baskets, firstly, the bigger the basket, the more soil volume, the less likelihood they are to dry out. Instead of buying a spring fling basket like this, I like to go straight to the meat and potatoes of the gardening season. So I usually err on like things that love the summer heat, like petunias. You take her, him, her, and then we'll just pop something that's gonna love the heat, love the heat a lot more. It's a petunia mixed basket. It's gonna love all this hot summer sun that you got going on.
So how I'm taking this is just a hookup. That's wife material.
Brilliant.
Ted, I would say I'm disappointed, but I actually am not surprised at all.
Not even a little bit.
How's your garden looking now? Any better?
Here's the problem. It was looking great for a few days after Dale left. We snipped everything up.
Yep.
Then I went away for like a few days.
You didn't water anything?
Some of the flowers need some CPR this week.
Oh, God. All right, well, we know who to call. Thank you, Ted. Really appreciate you letting us into your home. It was so nice.
Dale still has all of his digits, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Compost. He's got the compost and the tomatoes, and he'll have tomatoes, and he'll have them when we come right back. Thank you, Ted, for that.
You got to work on your accent, real bad.
It's really an accent. The compost.
Compost. You got that right.
Compost. Oh, welcome back, everybody. It's time, and you know what time it is. It's time for the world's shortest segment.
Ready, set, go.
Today, a pop culture moment that happened 37 years ago today when Coca-Cola decided to bring back the original formula just after a few months of making new Coke. Do you remember this?
I'm Don Keogh, president of the Coca-Cola Company. When we brought you the new taste of Coke, we knew that millions would prefer it, and millions do. And we knew that it would beat the taste of our major competitor, and it does. What we didn't know was how many thousands of you would phone and write asking us to bring back the classic taste of original Coca-Cola. Well, we read and we listened, and you know the rest. They're both yours, the new taste of Coke and Coca-Cola Classic.
You can have it all. That was a commercial Coke launched to announce the two versions of Coke, the new flavor and the old flavor renamed Coke Classic. It was such a big deal. This is why we're talking about it. TV networks interrupted afternoon soap operas with breaking news.
Breaking news!
It was crazy. Today, only the classic flavor is sold. Some classic Coca-Cola, everybody.
Wonder why.
Surprise goodbye, coming right up.
Welcome back. It's time for the surprise goodbye.
All right, you know how this works. Like that.
Yep, that.
Surprise! We have no idea what story the producers put in here until right now. Today, an unexpected moment on the baseball field.
What is going on out in left field? Do we have a streaker? What is going? Oh!
Oh my gosh!
Is that a pickle?
That's a giant pickle on someone's Okay, anyway, that streaker being greeted, leveled, we should say, by a pickle. Yes, the mascot for the Portland Pickles summer baseball team tackled a streaker who showed up during a recent game. Security was later seen escorting the man out of the stadium. No word on if, he was wearing some shorts at that point.
Yeah, he wasn't full streaker.
Gosh, I would love to see TC Bear do that. Let's.
Yes.
I'm kidding. Don't get that idea. I didn't put it out into the universe. Don't call me.
But just in case, TC Bear, if you're watching.
Okay? Tomorrow on the show, it's double the fun. Night 1 of The Bachelorette debuts with 2 women vying for love. Producer Ted, oh gosh, he's going to watch it, isn't he?
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be awful, but so good to watch. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.